two non-governmental organizations, the first of which is East and Horn of Africa Human Rights Defenders Project. I'm checking with my colleague Atwell if the representative of East and Horn of Africa Human Rights Defenders is with us. Yes, Atwell is indicating that we have Mr. Joseph Bikanda with us, representing East and Horn of Africa Human Rights Defenders. Mr. Joseph, please take the floor. Put your mic and video on. Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson, I'll be representing Mr. Joseph Bikanda.
Please proceed. Thank you.
Honorable Chairpersons, distinguished commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, allow me on behalf of African Defenders and Defenders to appreciate the work well done by Honorable Lucy Aswagba as Special Rapporteur on Women's Rights in Africa. We welcome the leadership of Honorable Commissioner Zainab Kaitesi, and we're looking forward to working with her. The work of defending human rights is already very difficult, and when you add the additional responsibilities that women have, given the patriarchal nature of our societies, it becomes even more difficult. During this pandemic, women are facing economic insecurity and poverty-related stress, social isolation issues, disaster and conflict-related unrest, reduced availability of health services, and exposure to exploitative relationships with the inability of women to temporarily escape abusive partners. The restrictive measures imposed by African states and other movement restrictions have forced many women to remain confined in their homes, which has led to an increase in sexual gender-based violence at the domestic level. Furthermore, many women are unable to report these cases of violence against them, and women human rights defenders are also unable to provide the victims with the assistance they need due to movement restrictions. Globally, there has been an increase in domestic violence cases between March and April 2020. Gender-based violence, despite numerous guidance and resolutions of this commission, has not decreased on the continent, and women continue to suffer the consequences. Honorable Chairperson, the domestic responsibilities such as childcare and general household chores often fall on women, especially in Africa. With schools closed across the continent and children at home all the time, it can be more difficult for women to balance these duties with their activism roles. While activism work has largely moved online under COVID-19 restrictions, many women may struggle to access stable internet connection. Some women HRDs can access the internet. However, the women they support, especially in rural areas, do not have the kind of connectivity, creating a divide between groups who can access the support during this time.
I understand that the representative of East and Horn of Africa Human Rights Defenders Project is disconnected, unfortunately, midway the presentation of the statement on the report of the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women. May I now request if we have the representative of Human Rights Institute of South Africa, Kathy Erlando Kodemoka. Okay, actually we can go back to the representative of East and Horn of Africa Defenders Project to continue from where you stopped.
Okay, as I conclude, Honorable Chairperson, the psychological effect of COVID-19 on women has gravely impacted their life as they're unable to access social networks such as church and mosque groups and other informal women groupings, which provide great support for women. Women working in conflict situations as well as refugee women are experiencing patterns of gross human rights violations, and these violations are worsening as there's no one to monitor and report these abuses due to COVID-19 restrictions. We call on this commission to take necessary measures to ensure that states parties comply with the full implementation of Maputo Protocol provision. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that intervention on the report of the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women. Once again, underscoring the point that despite various initiatives, including statements, resolutions, and legal instruments, the lot of women and girls is not showing improvement. And echoing the point that I made earlier on, during this COVID-19 context, the situation of women and girls have shown deterioration and worsened off rather than improving. Our attention is also drawn to the issue of intersectionality, particularly as it relates to not only the situation of women on the basis of gender, but also women being internally displaced persons and refugees having multiple source of discrimination and oppression. Thank you very much for that statement. We now go back and request if we have Human Rights Institute of South Africa with us. Let me check with Edwell. Okay, we have the representative of Human Rights Institute of South Africa. So kindly switch on your mic and the video and take the floor, please. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you
yes.
put on your video as well?
Sorry, my video can't work right now, but I can see you clearly.
Okay.
Sorry for that. The thing is, I didn't mail confirm me that I will be doing my presentation today. I only heard it like.
So you can't put on the video?
Okay, let me try. Just give me a few minutes. Okay.
Okay. Please do that.
Okay.
So in the meantime, okay, there she is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Please, thank you very much for.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Please
Thank
proceed.
you. Okay. Honorable Chairperson and Vice Chairperson of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, honorable members, thank you to the Special Rapporteur for the insight in presenting the statement on the rights of women. I wanted to raise more facts. The unfavorable economic situations has also exacerbated most women and children to stay trapped with their perpetrators, who are the people they have intimate relationship with that take advantage of their vulnerable situations, making it hard for them to escape violent relationships. Women have used the civic platform to express their frustration against the law enforcement. Attempts have also been made to advocate for implementation of the Maputo Protocol, but their situation has not changed and they continue to live in fear and risk of impunity of gender-based violence. And here are the traumatizing cases we have documented. The gruesome killing of an 8-month pregnant woman whose body was found murdered with multiple stab wounds hanging on a tree. The murder of a 17-year-old girl whose mother found out about her death on social media. The newly admitted undergraduate at the University of Benin who was found raped, killed, and her head smashed with a fire extinguisher while reading her books in church. The intimidation and harassment have continued constraining women from rendering effective services during this challenging period, especially by cybercrime suspects, home break-ins, and robberies. There's also a great need for innovative strategies to assist them in mobilizing resources to enable them to perform their work under the new norm. I call upon the African Commission to urge member states to take gender-based violence very seriously, allocate adequate resources for effective implementation of the protocol on the rights of women, implement national strategy plan to combat domestic violence in the context of COVID-19 in Southern Africa, ensure a well-trained police service, skilled medical professionals, frontline workers, and judiciary that has zero tolerance for gender-based violence, ensure increased efforts for awareness raising in the society and forging of partnership with private sector to fight gender-based violence, recognize civil society rendering protective services for women and girls as essential service, and continue working with CSOs dealing with gender-based violence and provide them with appropriate tools, and create a just and safe society based on human rights, human dignity, equality, and accountability. I thank you for giving me this opportunity to present my statement.
Thank you very much, Kathy, for that very strong statement. I'm sure colleagues and those of you present would agree that some of the acts of violence are extremely horrendous and heart-wrenching. A pregnant woman killed and hanged on a tree. Young women, elderly women being violated. No safe place, whether it is at home, on the street, or at a workplace. We are in a very, very dire state of condition. And this situation has been made much worse by the chaos that COVID-19 has instigated as well. I once again wish to thank the Human Rights Institute of South Africa for that intervention. Before I move to the next speaker, I would like to request if Commissioner Kaitesi wishes to make a few remarks in respect to the two statements made.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. C'est juste pour remercier les deux organisations pour leurs déclarations et les recommandations qu'elles ont faites. Et puis, je promets collaborer avec eux dans le cadre de ce mécanisme sur les droits de la femme en Afrique. Merci.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaitesi. As the new Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women, Commissioner Kaitesi has taken note of the issues highlighted by the two organizations, and we look forward to her leadership in this very difficult time on this extremely important file of the African Commission in pursuit of the Maputo Protocol on the Rights of Women in Africa. Thank you all once again. This brings us to the end of the consideration of the activity report of the Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Women in Africa, former colleague, Commissioner Lucy Aswagbo. Once again, we thank her for her service and wish her well. We have been requested for exercising a right of reply under item 3 by the representative of Angola, if we have the State Minister, the Secretary of State for Human Rights and Citizenship of Angola with us, I kindly request for her to take the floor. We have the Secretary of State for Human Rights and Citizenship of Angola. Madam, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Muito obrigada, Sr. Presidente, Comissário Solomon Anderson, honoráveis comissários, ilustres representantes das organizações da sociedade civil, minhas senhoras e meus senhores. É para nós uma honra participar mais uma vez nessa 66ª sessão ordinária da Comissão Africana dos Direitos Humanos e dos Povos. A República de Angola, como sabem, está fortemente comprometida com os direitos humanos em conformidade com a nossa Constituição, a Carta Africana e os demais instrumentos internacionais de que somos Estados-partes. Para dar um passo na implementação dos direitos humanos no país, como já foi dito aqui, foi aprovado recentemente a Estratégia Nacional para os Direitos Humanos, o Prêmio Nacional dos Direitos Humanos para premiar aqueles ativistas e instituições que têm ações nesta matéria, e o Plano Nacional para prevenir e combater o tráfico de seres humanos. No plano regional, podemos destacar também aqui o facto de Angola já ser parte da maior parte das convenções e tratados africanos, a Carta Africana dos Direitos Humanos e dos Povos, o Protocolo de Maputo, a Carta sobre o Bem-Estar da Criança, a Convenção sobre os Problemas Específicos dos Refugiados, a Convenção para a Proteção e Assistência dos Deslocados Internos em África, os protocolos para o Tribunal Africano dos Direitos Humanos e dos Povos. Assinamos recentemente para adesão o protocolo para os direitos das pessoas com deficiência e para os idosos, e igualmente já foi aprovado para ratificação a Carta Africana para a Democracia, Eleições e Boa Governação. Importa destacar aqui, Sr. Presidente, que Angola, enquanto Estado-parte, não tem relatórios atrasados nem no sistema africano, nem no sistema das Nações Unidas. Em outubro de 2018, na 63ª sessão, apresentamos o nosso relatório periódico, a Carta Africana dos Direitos Humanos e dos Povos, e o nosso relatório inicial sobre o Protocolo do Maputo. Infelizmente, até o presente momento, não recebemos da Comissão o relatório com as recomendações do Estado. Para seguimento, gostaríamos de ressaltar que Angola conta com um mecanismo nacional de implementação, que é a CIERD, Comissão Intersetorial para a Elaboração de Relatórios Nacionais dos Direitos Humanos. Tendo em atenção a importância destas recomendações para a melhoria do Sistema Nacional de Promoção e Proteção dos Direitos Humanos, apelamos aos honoráveis comissários e à Comissão que remeta as recomendações ao relatório de Angola apresentado em 2018. Por outro lado, gostaríamos de lembrar mais uma vez que o português é língua oficial de trabalho da União Africana, mas Angola continua os documentos continuam a não ser traduzidos todos para esta língua, o que dificulta o seguimento das recomendações e do trabalho da Comissão, não só para Angola, mas também para os outros países de língua portuguesa. Por exemplo, as comunicações com Angola estão a ser feitas em inglês e não é a nossa língua de trabalho, pelo que estamos a constatar um certo retrocesso no processo que já tinha avançado, uma vez que, como já referi, o português é a língua de trabalho da União. Ressaltar que notamos também uma pouca coerência na informação colocada no site da Comissão, recentemente modificado e renovado, pois, erroneamente, por exemplo, diz que Angola tem 2 relatórios atrasados, coloca o país numa lista de países que não cumprem com o regulamento da Comissão e que não é o certo. Por último, gostaríamos de apelar à necessidade de serem acreditadas como observadoras mais organizações não governamentais de países que falam português, para que haja um diálogo mais interativo com a sociedade civil e os países. Senhor Presidente, honoráveis comissários, Permitam-me, uma vez mais, continuar o apelo no contexto do Covid. Stay home, stay safe. Muito obrigada a todos.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that intervention, raising important concerns, particularly calling on the Commission to follow up with its own responsibilities in terms of finalizing the recommendations, the concluding observations on the report of Angola. We take full note of that, and we will follow up with that request. The issues of language, particularly Portuguese, as an official African Union language, and how the Commission needs to use this language as part of the language of the Commission in its communications, including in the announcements on the website as well. We also take note of your question on the accuracy of some of the materials on the website of the Commission as they relate to Angola, including the statement or the document on the website that states that Angola is late by 2 reports. We will go and check. My colleagues at the Secretariat are taking note of these issues for our follow-up, and we'll definitely get back to you with accurate information. And should the information be incorrect, we'll definitely make the necessary corrections on the website as well. We also have taken note of your request for the Commission to make extra efforts in order to grant observer status to NGOs from Lusophone countries. Thank you once again for your kind intervention, Excellency. As the Commission, we appreciate the keen interest and active participation of states parties to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights as the pillar of the human rights system, being the actor on whom the primary responsibility for the promotion, protection, respect and fulfillment of the rights and freedoms in the Charter is imposed under the Charter. Thank you very much once again. Based on, I think, the information that I'm having and consulting with colleagues in the Secretariat, perhaps it would be good if we indicate at this point which of the activity reports we will be considering moving forward, so that at least for tomorrow, colleagues, distinguished delegates of state parties, international organizations, NHR rights and civil society organizations would know which of these activity reports are coming and prepare for them. So we have the activity report of the Working Group on the Rights of Older Persons and Persons with Disabilities in Africa, whose chairperson was our former colleague, Commissioner Jung, and it would be Commissioner Hatton who would be stepping on his behalf to present this report. This would be the first report that we'll be considering. Then we also have the report of the Special Rapporteur on freedom of expression and access to information in Africa. This is the report of the former Vice Chairperson and Commissioner Lawrence Mute. This would be presented by Commissioner Jamsina King, and this is the next agenda activity report that we will be presenting. Then we will confirm if we have the possibility of also presenting the report of the working group on communications. This is on behalf of former Commissioner Lucy Aswagbo, and Commissioner Maya would be the one presenting it. But this one is subject to confirmation. After these, we will be presenting the activity report of Honorable Commissioner Jamsina King on the working group on economic, social, and cultural rights. Thereafter, we would be considering the activity report if it is if the translation is finalized, the activity report of the Committee on the Protection of the Rights of People living with HIV and at risk, and those at risk, vulnerable to and affected by HIV. And then after that, we will consider, as I understand it, it's from the information I have from the Secretariat, the activity report of the Committee Against Torture, chaired by Honorable Commissioner Hatem. These are currently the ones in respect of which we have confirmation. So I kindly invite state delegates, international organizations, representatives of NHRIs and civil society organizations to kindly consult the website of the Commission where these activity reports have been uploaded, and also to submit their interventions to the African Commission Secretariat so that we would be able to assign your request for intervention to the right activity report. At this point in time, I would wish to once again thank with appreciation the activity reports that have been presented by colleagues, members of the Commission, for their kind collaboration, and also for stepping in on behalf of our former colleagues, for those who have taken the floor to intervene, for their interventions, and for all of you for your participation on this 7th day of the 66th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. This brings to the end today's session. We will see you at 9 GMT tomorrow for the 8th day of this 66th Ordinary Session of the